Hey, this is me, Asin. Welcome to my Cyber Dragon OTK testing video in a way, kind of, but not really, since I won't be showing a single OTK in this combo video, but at the same time, this might actually be one of the best videos I have ever made for Cyber Dragons, even though it technically won't affect me that much. These are still extremely important combos that if you don't know them and you play Cyber Dragons, or I guess especially line of plays, not necessarily combos, more like sequencing, etc., well, you might actually have some huge trouble against pretty much everyone and their mother. So before you start, really reminder to like and subscribe. It really does motivate me a lot to keep making videos like these. I'm not saying this just because it makes the video a bit longer and I get more money, but trust me, it really does help me out. So yeah, that would make me really happy, and that would probably make you happy since you're getting Cyber Dragon videos in return. So anyways, assuming that you have just Phantasma and Nibiru and you are skillful at the game and actually draw a pretty bad card, actually, to be honest, well, look at what you can do. So not the best. My opponent is actually going first and he's playing Salamandrate. So, you know, debug into Gazelle. He also has Skullmeister, which technically could have mattered depending on what my hand was, but in this context it doesn't matter. And by the way, when I say my opponent, what I really mean is myself, because I am my opponent. I am two-person. I'm not schizophrenic, by the way, but yeah. So now I'm going Phantasma and Nibiru. Really important to actually hold on to these cards, or I guess I want to say just the Nibiru especially, since you won't necessarily be main decking Phantasma. Phantasma is always a really good card to side in Cyber Dragons, by the way, but to main deck, it's not that it's bad in Cyber Dragon again, but it's not really good in the format because Virtual World literally don't play a single Link monster, and Eldritch and a bunch of other decks don't really care about Link monsters either. So now I'm going Phantasma and Nibiru, both of them get summoned, and I draw one card. My opponent has a token with a lot of attack, and this is what truly matters in this line of play. So the main goal here is actually to get your engine started off of just irrelevant cards. So right now, we're not drawing anything for turn, right? We only have Phantasma, Nibiru, and Machine Dupe, so what can we really do, assuming that this is actually simplified game state? A lot of people, you know, would kind of just go Anaconda, Dragoon, whatever, but this is just... Who do you think I am? You think I'm a garbage player who doesn't know what he's doing? Of course not, man. I know what I'm doing. I'm obviously not gonna go Anaconda Pass. That's stupid. If I get Veilored, I lose, and if I, you know, it's... Yeah, I just don't want to. So what I'm gonna actually do is go into this new girl, Lina. Well, technically new. It was super obvious that it was eventually going to become a card, because the entire family of Charmers, they all got their evolution, except the dark one yet. Which is going to be the Dark Charmer Shining. This is going to be the exact name of the card. They all have the same effect, by the way. The only difference is the attribute every single time, and the name of the actual, like, sorcerer or princess or whatever, Charmer. Yeah, this is how much I don't care about them. So, the light and dark Charmers are actually by far the best ones. I remember when Hita was the first one created, it was really good in Salamandrate mirror matches, but now that we have the light monster, not only can we revive back opponents' light monsters from their graveyard, which is extremely relevant. Against Cyber Dragons, you can revive back their infinity, which is ridiculous because the effect isn't negated, and you can attack, you can use the effect, you can do everything, you can link off. It's kind of disgusting. If you have the dark Charmer, oh, good lord. I don't even want to... the world is literally your oyster, seriously. But yeah, my opponent, I guess, had a debug. I'm going to revive back the debug even though it's not needed. Even if my opponent doesn't have a single light attribute monster, look at what I can still do. So trashing the Lina here is the most relevant thing in the world, and I really want to take the time to explain why this is extremely crucial. I am dying during the damage step, meaning that Ash cannot be used. So whatever I search is literally unashable, and this, by the way, searches for a light attribute monster with 1500 defense or less. Do you know who has 1500 defense or less? It's your boy Cyber Dragon Core, and the beauty of Core is that even if it gets ashed, nobody matters. Like, nobody cares because you can still go machine dupe, you can still play the game, you still have a body for Mega Fleet, for all of that. You can still banish it in the graveyard next turn so you can do all of your plays. It literally doesn't do anything. So this actually gives a lot of inherent stability to Cyber Dragons, a lot of resilience, because you can actually just turn kind of any kind of hand into Cyber Dragon starter plays. For example, if you play the trap build and you only have like Crackdowns, Ice Dragon's Prison, this can actually get your engine started. You can steal a light attribute monster your opponent controls and either go Ice Dragon's Prison or Crackdown to steal a monster, not necessarily banish if you have Ice Dragon's Prison, because you remember that you get to choose. And then you go for Lina, you crash, you search on damage step again, you have that core, and from there on out it's honestly really hard to lose. I feel like whenever you see core, if you lose, it's not because you bricked, but it's especially because you were unable to kind of, I don't know, maybe navigate through your opponent's interruptions. Maybe you're playing against a trap deck. Trap decks are really bad matchups for Cyber Dragons. Unless, of course, you're skillful at Yu-Gi-Oh! And you draw Harpy's Feather Duster and your opponent isn't playing Eldritch with freaking 5 cards that float. Yes, I am having PTSD or flashbacks from very terrifying moments that I've lived in the past. But don't worry, that is all in the... No, hopefully it's only in the past and not in the future too. Anyways, main phase 2, normal summon, search for overflow. Again, this could get ashed. I couldn't care less. The only thing that truly matters is this not being able to get hit by anything. No Call by the Grave. Again, it's going to happen on the damage step. Yeah, there's only really Strike, really. And even if you Valor this on the summon, the important effect is when it dies. So again, Valor wouldn't do anything, Imperm wouldn't do anything. This just feels like there's no out for your opponent for a Lina that's just crashing. Anyways, yeah, now you can actually go machine dupe, summon 2 Cyber Dragons, and this is insane. This is why also the debug that you brought back just doesn't matter, because even without it, you can still go Elmirage, and then Nova, revive back Cyber Dragon, then make Infinity, and then you're going to make Anaconda if you really want to. You can technically make Send Overload and then make Rampage pop 2, and then find a way to get rid of this annoying Nibiru. Or you can make Dragoon and then, you know, pop, because yes, your opponent will pretty much have the Nibiru token if you play Nibiru, but if you play like Crackdown and stuff, then it'll be a bit different, even though you could actually still pop off their monsters, make the game state as simplified as possible. Your Infinity also being able to absorb a card, so even if your battle phase wasn't used to destroy monsters your opponent controls, on main phase 2 you get 1 absorb, 2 pops, a lot of damage that you're burning, except if you're burning a Nibiru token, it deals 0, and also you get 2 negates and an overflow. So, yes, that's kind of scary, yeah? Yeah, all of that kind of just with 2 cards, because the Phantasme got us the machine dupe that couldn't be used yet since we didn't have a side draw, but since Phantasme Nibiru ends up being core, we're pretty much in business. So that's pretty nice. Let's get into what should be my personal favorite combo, so combo number 2. Alright, so I want to clarify something. I want to say most Cyber Dragon players genuinely don't know what they're doing, because even when I see them draw respectable or playable hands, they kind of just panic and they just do whatever. So my opponent right here is actually going to play a really explosive deck, and again, when I say opponent, I mean myself. I am myself. So it's Royal Magical Library, Pot of Greed, into Pot of Greed, and Pot of Greed. Wow, you're so skillful, Bernard. Of course, that's what happened when I check the don't check deck, no ban list, 3 Pot of Greed, no problem. Of course, you're drawing Magician Souls and Spell Power Mastery. Oh my god, imagine being that good at the game. 3-card combo, by the way, really consistent and powerful. Well, powerful, yes, actually. Anyways, just more negates. Just keep on making more negates. This Magician Souls is going to be summoned. Crowley is going to obviously get the best one since I clicked on it. Yeah, again, all of this is kind of planned, sorry. But the important thing here is how to capitalize off of Dark Ruler No More, even when your hand really isn't that great. So my opponent still has a bunch of cards on the field, and the important thing here is that I'm under so much pressure that if I can't clear every single card on the field, I am going to lose this game hands down 100 billion%. So just look at how much he's special summoning. He even has cards in his hand, so I really need to maybe even make a negate after this. So do you think there's a way for me to actually break this entire board just with these cards? It's really tricky, right? Now you might be saying, oh yeah, but Dark Ruler, and then Contact Fuse, attack, whatever. I don't know what to do with this Levineer, and then you have Overflow, pop 2. Oh yeah, but that's not getting rid of freaking... What is this? Like 7 cards? 5... 6, 8 cards. Oh my god, 8 cards. How am I getting rid of 8 cards in one turn? Well, Dark Ruler is of course step number 1. And then, now here is actually one extremely important thing that actually matters a lot when you play Cyber Dragons. A lot of people would always be tempted to go, you know, make Mega Fleet, and then attack over one monster, and then they just have that dead Cyber Dragon in the hand that doesn't really do anything, and then they can kind of just lose the game. But what if I told you that you can do so much more than that? Because yes, you actually can. You can make Relinquished Anima, steal one monster. This is always going to be really easy to do, honestly. Now, the less easy part to do is actually crashing on a monster with the same attack. This is especially easy against Pendulums because they have a tendency to always put Mythical Beast, Jackal King, at least one of them in column number 2 or 4. The other columns, they have to respect Celine and have weird zones, etc. So Jackal King will always kind of have its spot in column number 2 or 4, and then you can crash on another one. Whatever, again, this is just an example, but I really want you to know that this already gets you a bunch of cards in your graveyard because Anima is a dark attribute monster. Now you're special to summoning that Cyber Dragon since you no longer have a monster on the field. You're contact fusing with the Link monster, so we already got rid of 3 monsters just with a single Cyber Dragon Hertz. That's kind of ridiculous. Now, this is actually the coolest part because we have a full stacked graveyard of 2 lights and 1 dark, meaning that when we do summon the Levineer, we can pop 2 cards on the field, so we can pop a monster, 2 monsters, or a spell or trap and a monster, or whatever, any kind of configuration. But popping our opponent's spells and traps, there's no value here. I feel like we can do so much more than that. It's easy to get rid of these 2 cards, but we really do have to find a way to destroy these monsters. Now, I feel like I would be definitely negging quite hard if I just destroyed 2 monsters here, so what I'm actually going to be doing is destroy my Overflow and my opponent's monster, any one of them. It doesn't matter since we're under... Well, rather, they are under Dark Ruler no more, so this Overflow is actually going to search for a card that has so much synergy with Levineer, since Levineer actually fuels your Banished. So that Cyberload Fusion, allowing you to actually fuse from the Banished with Cyber Dragon Hertz and Cyber Dragon. And now our opponent has 2 monsters on the field and 2 spells and traps on the field. So I think you can kind of see where this is going. I'm going to go Cyberload, and then make Rampage, pop 2 spells and traps. And then we can actually get an engine for next turn since we can pitch 2 Cyber Dragon cores. Now I want to explain something yet again. If our opponent is just on simplified game state, kind of struggles to get rid of all the cards that we have, has to get rid of all of his resources just to jump over our monsters, next turn what we do is we go Banish Cyber Dragon Core. We have so many options. We can go next turn Revive back Rampage, and then Rampage sends Hertz and something else, and then normal summon something, and then we have Seeger. Seeger with Rampage is 12,600 damage through 3 monsters, a monster your opponent controls, which is ridiculous. So even if the opponent can actually spawn for like 4,600 damage and has a monster in defense, you still have OTK, which is crazy. And another important thing is that we can go technically Banish Core and then summon the Hertz and then, you know, make whatever Link Rebo, Contact Fuse or whatever, and then recycle back the core since we do have 2 cores in the graveyard. Again, really relevant. But anyways, now that what's going to happen here is that we can actually go Anaconda. Again, we have so many options since our opponent controls 2 dark monsters and we have at least 1 dark monster. So in theory, what we could do is that we could actually make Trifu Vertum, which is a really good card. It actually requires 3 dark monsters on the field, and then our opponent can actually, we can actually negate the summon of like monsters. So if you go skill, Pendulum Summon, we can just go like Solemn Warning on his ass and he loses the game there. But whatever, just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to make Dragoon, destroy 2 monsters, and that's it, man. I was able to get rid of so many cards my opponent controlled without relying on evenly Sphere Mode. I don't know, like actual hard breaking board cards. We pretty much did it the soft way with actual real Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Well, technically the hard way with by actually forcing our way by destroying everything piece by piece. You know, Hertz, Contact Fuse, Relinquished Anima, Crash, Levineer, Pop, Anaconda, Pop, Dragoon, Pop, next turn negate, follow up with Core. absolutely beautiful. I love this deck so much. I feel like there's just so many possibilities, as I keep saying, but if this deck actually gets nice, good support in the Cyber Style Structure deck, things could actually be looking much brighter for us. So that's all I had to say in Showcase for this Cyber Dragon Cowboy video. I hope you guys were able to learn a thing or two, and if you did, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.